Like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat.
Hey guys, what is up? Let's just tame the mic audio a little bit. Oh, not the mic audio, the background music a bit. Yeah, there we go. So yeah guys, here we go. Just another live edit for us today. Hope you guys are going to enjoy it. It's one of the old photos that I've taken a while back. It's a Harley Davidson photo. You guys are going to about to see it in a minute or so. Yeah, so just kind of catching up on some old stuff, some photos that I had selected previously in time to actually edit, but never really got to it because, well, the client was already happy with the amount of pictures they got, so we didn't need to edit the rest. But still love these photos, and I still think it's going to be a great time editing them, so that's kind of the goal. If you guys have any questions, anything, I got it over here open on the side, and I can check at any point in time if you guys want to learn anything, anything specific that I did or am going to do that you guys want to just see me demonstrate for you guys. Just ask away, and if I do see it to my right here, I'll answer. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this. Let's switch over to our editing screen, and there we go. We are live, and this is the photo that we're going to be editing today. One of Cindy, shot a while back. If you guys want to see the video of that shoot, it is also in my, well, on my channel, but I'll leave it somewhere, leave a link to it somewhere around here. And yeah, you guys can more than welcome to watch that and see what we've done to get this shot. But for now, we're just going to edit this shot. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some skin smoothing, and this hair is going to piss me off a lot. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, to do some skin smoothing, some touch-ups, some just general editing. And I already chose a color palette for us. It's the same one we used for all the other photos, but yeah, we will tweak it a little bit to match this one perfectly, but it's nice to have a good base to start from. So yeah, I suppose let's get started. But first, I'm just going to open my drink. Been doing a lot of lives lately. These energy drinks are keeping me at least able to, so not my favorite one, but hey, keeps you going, man. Cool stuff. Alrighty, take the keyboard, put it in front of me so we can do some editing. Alright, like all this stuff, I like starting with just duplicating my layer so that I have a clean one to work from, that I don't affect the background at all, just as a precaution. Yeah, seems like we're going strong on the stream. Looks very healthy. Let's look over here. Yeah. Alrighty. Just want to close that to give us as much RAM and memory as we can to actually do this, because Photoshop and Streamlabs tend to take a lot out of this computer. So yeah, but no matter, I will be able to still answer any questions you have, because I still have it open to my right here. So yeah, like I said, just like starting on a blank, well, not a blank layer, a duplicate layer, so they don't affect the main image. So if I ever make a mistake, I could just go back and minimize it, and it will be minimized or deleted, and I will at least have somewhere to start from again. So it's a very non-destructive way of editing, but yeah, it is a little bit like lag intensive, or not lag intensive, memory intensive, because the more layers you have, the more it takes out of your computer. And if you guys have any, let's just, yeah, there we go. If you guys like have any, oh no, I think it's not focusing. Let's go. Any other questions, feel free to ask. Let's see. I can't tell if I'm in focus or not. Let's go back to big screen so I can actually see. Full screen. Yeah, I'm in focus. I'm just being stupid. Alrighty. Okay, so first of all, as you guys can see, there is some chromatic aberrations here. Not a big fan of that. Not happy with that, but that's something that's very difficult to avoid, especially on silvery and very shiny parts. It's very easy to pick up some chromatic aberrations. Very light parts tend to pick them up really easy, and sometimes very dark parts. It's just one of those things. But we are quickly going to fix this by going into filter, camera raw filter, and just waiting for it to load. If you guys do notice me looking every now and then to my right, it's because the chat screen is there, just so that I can see what you guys are saying. And then I'm just going to drag this all the way to the right. This is camera raw, by the way, the camera raw filter. It looks like the normal layout. It's very simple. It's the same. You could just access it at any time from the filters tab. And then I'm just going to go to that little camera thing that says lens correction. And I'm just going to where that purple's down. And as you guys can see, it just takes that completely away. There's no real distortion that I can note that is a issue, so I'm not going to worry about distortion. The image is overall exactly where I want it because there have been some tweaking beforehand just to get it to a starting point. Cool. So yeah, just wait for it to load in. Now as you can see, the difference, but it's all on that layer now. It's not on the background layer at the bottom. But yeah, no more chromatic aberration. Okay, so now we're going to do some healing. So let's start off by creating a group, calling it healing or healing. There we go. Just want to put this in there. Nope, not that. So I'll put that in there and open up a layer, just call it heal. Cool. Okay, so this is simple. I'm just going to go to my normal healing brush and pretty much start with the process. Just pick normal healing brush, option, click on objects, just maybe make it a bit smaller, option click, and just brush away just little marks. Just remember to resample. You don't want to use the same sampling area the whole time. Actually, I'm not going to use that. Remove that one. I don't think it's bad at all. Just gonna do that. There we go. Cool stuff. And we're just going to do some minor changes because I'm going to be honest, there's not a lot of problems over here, but at all. Someone want to see any hair. No. Oops. Knocked the mic. Honestly, nothing really. Nothing really an issue that I see here. Maybe just going to go back to healing and just do this. Just minimize it so it's not as apparent. Just taking away any distractions you might see in the photo. As minimal as it is, it does actually help overall. So yeah. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I will answer as much as I can. It's a lot of fun doing this. Okay, so let's just do a once over. Nothing really. We're going to do a lot of frequency separation as well, so it's not going to be a big deal. Let's check down here. Sometimes the distractions aren't just always on the face. It's all over. So let's see, just to give the image a good once over and see what we have, so we can just kind of work out the big image. Let's see. Nothing really that I can tell off fan that bothers me at all. So yeah, pretty good. Cool stuff. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next step, which I know there's a shortcut for this, so I'm just going to do Command J and E just to create myself a new layer, and we're going to call this frequency. And then I'm going to open my favorite plugin. Well, one of my favorite plugins. I kind of use them all, but this one is awesome because it just really speeds up the process of frequency separation. Yeah, so a lot of you guys wanted to know more about it. Last time we did a live stream. It is created by Nina Batista. It's a wonderful tool. It just really speeds up the process of doing frequency separation and skin smoothing. because you can also create yourself a bunch of presets, but you can use this slider. Let's see. And then detail threshold. Yeah. Just waiting for the thing to load in. There we go. So yeah, detail threshold controls how much detail you still have there. And radius is how smooth it's going to be. It's going to be, that's all. And you'll see it by looking at this. If I do increase this, let's say to 20, you'll see more detail. Very subtle, but it works. My personal favorite is this one, 5:10 ratio. It works wonderful for me. It's my preference, I guess. But it is, yeah, you can set it up as wide as you want. Many different choices. Yeah, and there you go. I'm just going to apply that. And it will run an action here to the side, giving you all these wonderful options. And then I'll show you guys how to edit on them. Cool stuff. Yeah, so let's just zoom out again, minimize that so it's not that distracting for you guys. So as you guys can see over here, it made MBP frequency separation 5:10. You got the high texture layer. We'll just minimize all of this. Let's just do this. There we go. As you guys can see, that's the high texture layer with all the detail. And then we have the blur layer that smooths everything out, and then if you add them together, boom, your photo looks like normal. So yeah, if you do that, no difference. That's how clever this thing is, which I really like. It's got a great way of separating the frequencies. So yeah, the way I do this is I make a duplicate of the lower layer, the low color layer, the blurred layer, and I edit on that, because again, I don't like editing on something and not being able to go back to where I was before I started messing around. And then we're going to go to brush, Shift B, Shift B, Shift B, and then it's we're going to go to the wet brush. And if you guys need me to stop with anything, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, okay? Go nuts. But yeah, we're going to edit on this one. Those are my settings, those are my preferred settings. If you guys wanted me to do a video on why I prefer those settings, just leave it in a comment down below. I'll definitely get to it. But yeah, I'm not going to go into much detail there. It's a lot. It's a lot of detail why I choose these things. And this is the settings that I have found that works for me. Might not work for you. And what this thing does, it just kind of smooths everything out. So now we're just going to start editing. We're just going to start brushing. And a cool thing to note, a good thing to note with this actually, is to follow the shape of the face. So almost think about the skull underneath and not so much the what you are seeing. So then all we're going to do is just go and just smooth out these areas. And normally this is where you would see a time lapse in a video. Nope. And what's nice, I put it on resampling, so every time I click down, it resamples in that area, so that I don't have to constantly do it. But if yours doesn't, you can just option click and sample from wherever you want.
Everything changes.
There we go. So just trying to look at the light which you have available already on the skin, and try not to work with too much, like too small of a brush. Try work with big brushes as much as you can, and just follow shapes and highlights and lines to just follow the shape of the face. There we go. Now it doesn't look like much when you're busy editing, and that's the scary part of it, is you can go too far. But I don't think we've gone too far at all. Now isn't that cool? Yeah, we can do a little bit more on this. Let's go back to brush. Just because when I was busy unclicking, it's good to just every now and then just look and undo the whole time. There we go. Just gonna get into these small details that you, because you're the whole time busy, you don't always notice on what you've done. It's easy to get distracted with what you've done or not have done, or where you've touched or where you've not have touched. It's easy. I've done it many times. And it's also very easy to make inconsistencies in the skin, but we can fix a lot of it now afterwards when we go into dodge and burn. But this is just for me to just create an overall similar look to the skin, removing the biggest notable discrepancies in contrast. Kind of that's almost what frequency separation is, because honestly blemishes and stuff like that in skin is just compiled off of a highlight and a shadow, and that's what you're seeing. It's got nothing to do with actual inconsistency, it's just got to do with the way the light actually hits that area of the skin. There we go. And I like just doing the hands as well, because otherwise you've got this exceptionally smooth and then not as smooth areas. You know, you just want to kind of make the photo look consistent across the board. Again, if you guys have any questions, pop it in the comment or in the feed, in the live chat. Because I can look at it every now and then and see if you guys have any questions. There we go. Just that one piece there under the eye that I've missed. And we'll just... I mean, I could have taken that out with dodge and burn, but this is much easier for me. Let's see it from a distance again. There we go. Nice. I like that. Happy with that. Question, guys, because I can't actually tell from my end. Can you guys hear me properly? Is the music too loud? Is it all good? Just a yay or nay if you guys have any... If you guys can hear me, or the music you need me to make it softer or make it louder, whatever, you know. Just pop it down in the feed. Now, to be quite honest, there's not much more that I'd actually do here, if I'm honest. Maybe just over there. We're going to do some more stuff in dodge and burn, but I want to get this photo as close as possible already for when I just go into dodge and burn, just to do the finer touches, just do a little bit extra in dodge and burn. Let's see. There we go. I think we got some nice shape. Normally what I would do is actually lower the opacity a tad, but I don't think this is necessary on this photo, so I'm just going to continue off of this. And I'm just going to say, come on Jay, come on E. Hey Dad, how's it going? Okay, just wait for this to load in. There we go. Now, just gonna call this one dodge and burn. This is just for me later to figure out where mistakes have happened, if a mistake has happened, just for reference. Okay, let's open Dodge and Burn. Now I'm going to open two versions of Dodge and Burn that I have. I'm going to open up the normal curves layer, and then I'm also just going to add this one extra layer and making it gray. Actually, we want it 50% gray. There we go. And then we're just going to make it overlay and call that one Dodge and Burn. Okay. Then just as an added helper layer, just going to add this to the top. Make another 50% gray layer. Just going to drag it somewhere there. Just say 50. And make this go and say saturation. There we go, saturation. I'm not even going to name it because it's going to disappear in a second. And then we're going to go curves and just bring it down a tad bit, just so that we see what we can do, what we are doing when doing Dodge and Burn. Okay. So I'm going to start with the normal curves one. We might not even need the extra one. I just like having it there so I don't have to add it later. Say brush, Shift B, Shift B. There we go. Cool stuff. Flow down to 1%. And now we're just going to start adding and subtracting some lights and shadows. Now let's see. The best thing to kind of do when you do Dodge and Burn is actually make it smaller sometimes, because it's easier to see discrepancies in the skin. So I notice over here it's a little bit light, and I would like to remove that. Now remember, when you're working on a layer that is filled with black, you need a white brush, and obviously the opposite applies if it's a white layer, that you need a black brush. But we're working on a negative layer, so we just need a normal white brush. And then you'll see it's very, very, very subtle, very, very subtle, but we'll just be applying to that area. Let's see. Maybe just a bit low. Let's see. There we go. Much better. Okay, let's go to Dodge and Burn. Because overall, the detail areas are fine. I'm just trying to kind of make some depth now by making a little bit of brighter areas around. Like on the chin. Just want to add a little bit more in there. Again, any questions, feel free to ask. Let's see. A little bit added on the chin there. And again, some on the nose. A little bit on the forehead, just brighten that area up a bit. Now I just want to go some closer. Because with dodging and burning, you're kind of almost just aiming for some ridges that you know they are in the photo. So for me, there's a ridge on the lip. It's just to create that contrast in the area to separate it, showing that showing the details. And the reason we use helper layers is because this is not always the easiest thing to actually see when you are busy editing, busy doing dodge and burning. And then my light just went. There we go. We're in darkness now. let's do this thing. Okay. Because I can't get main light to come back on again. Probably because it's too warm now. No idea. The shadow at her left nostril is very dark with nothing on the right side. Okay. Yeah. Hey, how's it, Dill? How's it going? Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's quickly. Yeah, it's got no separation. I do see what you mean. We're just gonna add that in with some dodging. Just doing this, and then adding some burning. There we go. Just to give it some three-dimensionality. I'm more concerned with this burned, this lighter area over here, making your cheek look a little bit puffy. Just slowly, softly add it in. There we go. Removes it. Hey, yeah, no, it's going like this side. Just been keeping busy with live streaming and stuff like that. Just lives on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere just lately. Just a lot of lives. Alrighty. I'm happy with that. I am happy with that. Just add some depth to her face. The chin one is a bit much, so I'm just going to go in and brush some of it out. Just so flip it to X, just press X to flip it, and just reducing it a tad bit, and I'll brush it into eraser. There we go. That should have taken care of that. Yes, it has. And just because something I like doing is adding another specular highlight just on the nose, because the nose is the closest thing to camera, and that's always a good reference. It should majority of the time be the brightest area. We'll see how that looks. That's a bit much. Let's remove that a bit. There we go. Yeah, no, I figured that's what you were saying. With it just looks flat, but that was a result of frequency separation. If you don't control the brush, sometimes what it does, it will go over edges because it kind of just blends all the edges together, and it will actually go over the brush, and yeah, then you have that result where it just flattens out all the contrast. Let's see if this thing can go back on. Still nothing. And we have it awake again for the time being. Move that back there and go make it blue again. There we go. Cool stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I need to get a better video light. This thing's not meant for it. It doesn't have, it's actually meant to be portable and not plugged in this way, but yeah. Okay. Let's play around a little bit on, and again, just to show you guys, it's much easier to see in black and white when you're editing. Just to see the shape of the shadows, it makes it so much easier. It's just a good technique to learn, just to make these helper layers. I'm not even going to worry about that dodge and burn, so I'm just going to remove that for now. And select both of those, Command J, Command E, And now we call this something else. I do need to just check every now and then because my camera does go off and it's not easy to notice because I can't hear it. But yeah. Next layer. Now for our eyes. Okay, I'm just going to be in darkness for a little bit, so I'm going to disappear. Here we go. I'm gone for a little bit, but I'm still here. You guys will still hear me. Okay, so we're going to edit the eyes now. We'll call this one eyes. Let's say. Okay, so eyes again is still presenting to camera even though I'm not there. So eyes are same as dodging and burning. I've got a technique that I use. What did I just do there? I've got a technique that I use to do eyes. I make a curves adjustment layer and I pop them up excruciatingly high, pointlessly high, but there's a reason for it. So Command I, we just call this one eyes. So Command I changes a normal white mask to a black mask, and vice versa. It's called just Command I is just invert. Okay, so now you guys want to know why I made it excruciatingly high, is so that I can actually see what the hell I'm doing, and that's important. So I'm gonna put the flow up a little bit because I don't like dragging for half an hour on a brush, and I'm just gonna start drawing in some textures. And remember, brush needs to be on white if it's working on back layer. So yeah, we're just gonna make some patterns. There's no real theme to what you're doing here. There's no real, just I like crisscrossing. I like creating just some weird textures in the eyes, just something that looks normal, because the eyes got this like a lot of like, it looks like almost hairs, like a bunch of hairs just overlapping the whole time. And I like doing that. And let's move to the other one and just do a bunch of them. The reason I do it this way is literally because of being able to control how much detail I want to put back in the eyes. So as you guys can see, you got this very much a kind of a demonic type look. The eyes are very bright, but that's fine. The reason we put it up that high is so we actually see what we do, what we're busy doing. And then you can just lower it in the curves adjustment and voila. This is a very easy way of doing it. But if you are looking at making this whole process much easier for you, I'm just going to minimize that for now. Go check out Beauty Retouch Academy. It's plugin, and they've got this wonderful variety of choices for you to choose from. I'm going to choose Magic Eyes, and what that's going to do is it's going to run an action for me right now, and it's going to pop up a folder selecting some eyes. We're just going to be doing almost the same thing that I just showed you guys, but a different way, and also a little bit more controlled and simple. Okay, just waiting for it to load. Everybody still following? Any questions? Except for where I went, and I'm still here. Our video light just failed, and then I look weird sitting with a beautiful colorful background and no light on my face. So yeah, okay, cool. The action is done. Now we're gonna go, and I'm gonna show you guys. You just open that, and it's gonna have these two: add light with a brush or darken with a brush. Everything else, don't need to know about it. It's done weird shit. It's done its own things. You're just gonna click on these things, and you're gonna zoom in, and the exact same method applies. We're gonna do this. Well, you can download brushes and stuff like that, does things for eyes. I just like having a little bit more manual control here. Cool, let's just, I'll zoom out a bit because with pixels currently, not that easy to see. Cool stuff. Let's do this one here. I'll move it to the middle of the screen. We're just going to follow the same weird pattern. Either way works fine. Either method works 100%. I'm just going to do this one. Now for the darken is because the eyes do have some dark areas in there. And you see this is a bit too powerful for my liking. Okay, let's just lower the flow a little bit. And I think the best way of using this is, the darken one is much lighter. Much lighter. You don't want to be as harsh on it. And choose to work around the rings of the eyes, just these, the rings of the iris. And just dab, just touch a little bit in. It looks like I'm going crazy, but I'm just actually moving the cursor around a lot. There you go. It's very subtle, but as you see, it just adds a little bit of pop into the eyes. And then, boom. The eyes have a little bit more pop. Again, I don't like it as much. I tend to overdo it and then bring it down a tad. So we're going to bring it down to 70. Cool stuff. That makes the eyes pop a little bit more. Like I said, that way works, or that way works. Exact same thing. We'll use the Retouch Academy's version of it for now. And I'm just going to move this above again, because that's our color grade. That's the one I picked out earlier that I created a while back. It's my favorite color grade I think I've created so far. Let's see. Do we have light again? We have light again. Okay. Boop. And I'm back. Hi guys. Hello. It is me. I'm back. I probably will disappear in a moment or so, but let's see if we can last long enough until the very end. Let's hope. Let's hope. So yeah. Normally what I would do by now is do some liquefying, just to give some shape to everything. But I don't think it's necessary for this photo. I think there's a lot of shape happening here already. Just be careful if you do end up using liquefy. It is a very powerful tool, and it's very easy to mess up. Really easy. But I don't think this particular photo needs it. And I knew it. I just disappeared again. Sad part is I've been charging this thing for the longest time. Ooh, I can make different colors. Oh, we can work in different colors for some reason. Cool stuff. I'm gonna be green. How does that sound? Does that work for you guys? Or should I choose purple? Okay. Just making do with what I have, guys. Okay. So yeah. And I bet a lot of you are dying. Okay, so Dylan, what is your color grading process and how do you work with infinite color panel? Okay, so actually I like that question. That's a cool question. So, because we can actually pretty much done, and I'd normally run an action to actually put it out to post, and like done, it's done with editing, just run the action and then I'll save it. But that is the color grade I chose on this. I called it Utah because I wanted a Utah feel for us, but we won't work with that one right now. Just to answer your question, I'm going to go into infinite color panel, and because I like a kind of heavy color grade, hey, purple is dimming as well. Let's see. We will cheat the system. I'm still here, by the way, anyway. I'm gonna just switch this damn thing off and abandon it for now. Okay. Let me just get back to the questions now. Cool stuff. Okay, so we got infinite panel open now. Infinite panel, I like working in medium, Dylan, and quite honestly, I prefer working in medium. Drop that down. There we go. So in medium, because I like a heavy color grade, oddly enough, it's not that heavy on certain images, but I think it's just the way I work on my photos. But medium, what I would do is I'd normally pick up something and I'd choose a color palette that I work from. So what we could maybe do is I'll pop in quickly just to showcase a few of the things that I do. I'll pop into my color grading layout. Like this is my editing layout, but on color grading, I have a different layout on my computer. And we'll go to workspace and I'll say color. And this is normally what I would deal with. So we'll take away the color choice that I've just made on Infinite Color Panel, and it's going to lay out this for me. So there's a few steps of doing this, but with this, you can now select, let's see, eyedropper. You can now go around and select and see what colors in there. Let's see, okay, green. This thing's so slow. Okay. Okay. No idea why it's not trying to select now. There we go. Okay, so what I would do is I'm just going to abandon this because this thing's lagging like hell. But I would go and select the colors through this and I'd find it on the wheel. So this will be like the color wheel will tell me exactly where things are. So I would normally be able to say, do you use the color picker and say select select color. So use that. Just want to go and bring this across. Okay, I'd select new swatches and change them to the color choice that I had so that I know which colors I'm dealing with at that point in time. Okay, just want to move this. And then with Infinite Color Panel, what I would do is I'd say create until I find something that is the color palette of my choice. So like for this one, the color palette of choice was, I wanted that orangey, deserty toned background in the background. And that was my main focus there. I wanted to use that color because I wanted to make it look like Utah. So I would actually just sit in color panel and just, for my own ease, honestly, just run through a bunch of options until I found something I could work with at the end of it all. Let's see. And oddly enough, because this is a randomizer, it's probably not going to do it off the get, like straight off the bat. And it's just one of those things. Still not there. But okay, I think you get that point. Then I would, as you guys can see, this is the original bunch down here at the bottom. Okay, see, it's not selecting because I'm on a mask. You're right. Let's go back to color. You're right. Thanks, Dill. Let's go to eyes. There we go. You were 100% right. And then what I would do is I would just say add. And then again, I'd pick a new color. I'd do it there. And I'd just say, wrong one, add. And I just continuously add colors to my swatches. And then I'd edit from there. But I want to go back to retouching quickly. But yeah. Then from there on, this is the cuckest explanation on the world. So this was the original selection. The exact way I looked at it from the beginning. After spinning around an infinite color panel for the longest time, this was the selection that I had. These two are completely useless in this one, but that's the way I saved it. Then I focused on just bringing and cooling down the tones a bit. Then I focused on the background. So what you'll see is in the hue saturation one, let's open that. It's probably in the greens, no, in the yellows. Yeah, in the yellows. And the yellows I just slid around until I got the background to fit the color. So yeah, that was step one. But as you could see, that would affect the facial tones a lot. It affects the facial tones a lot. Then the next step would be identifying the facial tones, which wasn't the most difficult thing to do, which I did in selective color. So let's go back. So as you see, this one was just to add a little bit of extra orange pop in the contrast. Let's open selective color. And this one was done in neutrals. Oddly enough, no, it's done in whites. And I just dropped down the blacks a bit, just to get that extra pop of color, because the problem was in the brightest areas on these photos, it was completely overshot, and I just wanted to bring it down a little bit. Okay. And then in this one, overall brightening of everything. Stop opening that. Overall brightening of everything. Again, popped it down just to get the skin tones right. But just because, let's go do a completely new one. Just so that people can see my entire process. You caught me off guard there, dude. I was not actually expecting. That's why I had a pre-selected color grading one already, so I don't have to talk about color grading. But it's cool. Let's have fun. Okay, let's find one that I like, that I want to edit from. Okay, this one, because it's already very similar to Utah. The issue I have with this one immediately off the bat is the fact that it has the green. So what I would immediately do is hue saturation is the easiest. I'd select the green, all the yellows apparently, give up, and I change them to where I want them. And that's even adding some saturation, maybe just brightening them up a bit, not making, like I said, my objective here is to make it look like a desert. So yeah. Then from there, next up is a skin tone. And I find selective color works the best for skin tones. And again, it's about segmenting where you're editing from. I'm already happy with the background. The background has got no issues for me. Now I'm just focusing straight up on the skin tones. And it's about just feeling it. There we go. Just minor work. Now I don't want more pink. It's minus that. Yeah. Yellows. Should I give her a 10? Should I not? No, I should give her a 10. Let's give her the look of like the sun is beaming on her. Maybe a bit too green there. Drop that. Now let's add some darkness to it. And then Command I in the mask. Command I, there we go. And then what I would do is flow 100%, opacity 100%, and I would literally just sit here and paint in. Default, yeah, there we go. And the nice part is you can be somewhat relatively dirty with this. And again, now that you actually have the original color palette in view, the problem that you'll find is now seeing some flaws, like there's way too much green. So I'm gonna just go and say 0. And the thing is, oddly enough, yellow creates a green as well, so and again, if you're still not happy, just keep on adding until you work it out. It's what's nice about Photoshop. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's, yeah, like I said, you caught me off guard there, but I'm happy at least some of my explanation works. The biggest thing I can just tell people about color grading is what's nice about Photoshop above, I think, Lightroom. Honestly, the reason why I edit my color grading in Photoshop is it's the fact that even when you're working on mistakes, you can always add more layers until you fix the mistake, and you can work on such minute details at one time that you could actually do a great job at it. So like right now, I can immediately see I'm not happy with her skin tones because she kind of blends in, but she also looks a bit green. So I'm just gonna tweak until I can. I'm gonna just say use saturation, and I found use saturation works phenomenal. I think it's one of my favorite ones. That and selective color, honestly, for color grading. Let's see. And I'll probably just end up tweaking in the master thing, because I don't actually give a shit what's happening in the background or what's happening. Like, you know, like, let's say I want it to be blue. Just make it an alien planet. I'm not caring what's happening on the background because I'm just going to mask that out anyway. Ooh, we got very close there. Very close. And 90% of the time, you're just kind of out by a 1. Let's see. No, apparently 3 was correct. -3 was correct. Let's see. That wasn't correct. Shouldn't do that. There we go. There we go. The biggest problem I think right now, what I'm dealing with, is the fact that the background is bright and the foreground's bright as well. So the background and the foreground are very much on the same tonal range, and that's something I need to mitigate right now. So what I need to do is go back to this use saturation layer and tweak down, not the master one, tweak down the yellows. See, like I said, like that's what I love about Photoshop, and I'm also going to just desaturate it a bit and just keep on tweaking that down. There we go. That's much better. Let's compare. How close did I get to Utah? I know what I did differently at Utah though. If you guys did notice, when on Utah has a blue background. That's what I did differently. I haven't adjusted the blues, but yeah, I'm not gonna keep on fiddling. Utah worked, and Utah took about 4 hours to create, so that's why I'll stick with Utah. But yeah, that's color grading for you. A lot of tweaking and messing around until it works. But now that I can see with Utah, when you add color, you will start seeing some discrepancies. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to minimize eyes because we're not working on that, so that I can go back to dodge and burn. And again, that was where That discrepancy is what I'm not liking. So let's see if I can even reduce that even more. That chin is too bright. I'm not happy with that. And apparently I can't minimize it like that. So let's add some more dodge to it. And I also see another problem. See, that's what happens when you're working on color as well. It's I see that problem immediately. I've got a split line here. It's very dark here and very bright on that side. So I'm just gonna, again, just tweak, just play, just brighten this area up a little bit so that it's not as harsh, because it's bugging me. Here we go. There we go, much happier with that. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this photo. Now for the last bit of it, let's, what I like to do mostly in my photos, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I want to pop in a tad of a vignette. Oops, come on. Okay. Sometimes it just takes for a while because of live streaming. Doing such a big thing during a live stream on Photoshop takes a bit of time. And I don't know why it's taking this long right now. I mean, okay, we are, come on. Things currently frozen. It is frozen. There we go. We are back. That one. And just like adding a little bit of vignette, and then doing my final output settings for the web. There we go. This photo is done. Let's just wait for that to run. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Sorry about the light failing. Let's see. It is merging layers. I'll quickly move the progress on over here. There we go. It's just merging layers, and it's going to do a couple of things. It's just going to sharpen it for the web, add some grain for any editing that has been done, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a look. Change the color tone of it a bit, because the websites don't like some deep blacks or very high brights. So just tweak that a little bit. And it's an action that I created just for Instagram, websites, and stuff like that, just to give it the best shot that it has. To look good. Can't believe it's been an hour. It's been an hour of streaming. Cool stuff. Almost there. Okay. This should be the last one. You can work now. Thank you. There we go. So all this does is I'm just gonna legitimately only have this one open. It sharpens it, add some noise, and you can like, what's nice about this function is you can, because it's a smart object, you can add noise, reduce it. Doesn't matter how you want to work it. Same thing with the sharpening. If you think it's too sharp, works perfectly. And then for web output, it just kind of almost just brightens the image a tad bit up, because websites tend to make it a little bit darker. So those are my output settings. So let's switch over to full face camera so you guys can see my ugly mouth before we say goodbye. But it'll really look shit because of the way this whole thing got played out with no light. But there we go. Full screen. Just gonna put this over there. What's up, guys? Damn, this thing looks terrible. I didn't actually notice. It's such a tiny screen over there. But I'm so happy you guys joined along for this. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, just gonna stop looking there because it's making me laugh. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope I did manage to answer some questions. I got caught a little bit off guard there for a moment with the color grading questions, and I do promise for the next video we're going to focus on color grading, guys. Next video I'm going to focus on teaching you guys color grading. Yeah, because I sounded like an absolute idiot there. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for joining, and let me get my mouse not look so awkward when I'm trying to reach in the abyss. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.